This is the brief on Teresa Giudice's recent revelations regarding family peace and show rumors. So, in this video, we'll be talking about some key insights from Teresa Giudice's podcast, Turning the Tables. She got into that ongoing family dynamic with her brother, Joe Gorga, and his wife, Melissa, plus some other reality TV buzz. Okay, so Teresa talked about wanting to make peace, trying to pursue reconciliation with Joe and Melissa, and her big motivation? Well, she says it's really about setting a good example for her kids, her 4 daughters, and her stepsons. She doesn't want them saying, practice what you preach, right? She stressed she just wants peace, but look, it has to come from both sides. And she totally shut down any talk that a reunion would be just like some made-for-TV thing. She was pretty clear, saying she just doesn't know how to be fake and that, honestly, fans would see right through it if it wasn't real. Then she shared this really kind of beautiful moment. Apparently her daughter Adriana recently ran into the Gorgas' son Joey at a party. She said they were just so happy to see each other, got all teary-eyed, and hugged. Joey even had Adriana call Gia and left her a message on Snapchat. It really illustrates kind of the weight this whole thing puts on the kids, doesn't it? She also touched on those rumors about test filming for The Real Housewives of New Jersey season 15. Teresa confirmed, nope, she's never tested. Why would she? She's an OG. And finally, she reacted to that suggestion from Julia Lemigova, the one about maybe sleeping with Adriana de Mora while married to Martina Navratilova. Teresa seemed pretty shocked at first, but then kind of added, well, some marriages are open, and hey, if Julia and Martina are okay with it, who is anyone else to judge?
Before we get into the next update, I need to check in with you all. If you're enjoying our little tea session, take a millisecond to hit the like button and subscribe to join the best reality TV community on YouTube. Done? Let's move on to next update now.
Next, we are going to talk about the escalating legal fight between Lisa Hochstein and her ex-husband Lenny Hochstein after their divorce. So you might remember their divorce was finalized late last year, and part of the deal was pretty significant. Lenny had to build Lisa and their kids a new, very specific house, right? And he also had to pay her rent, like $17,000 a month, until it was done. Oh, and cover any rent increases. Well, now Lisa's saying he's not holding up his end. Her team filed court papers claiming he's basically ignoring 2 parts of their agreement. First off, the rent. It went up by $1,000 a month to $33,000. Lisa says Lenny's flat out refused to pay that extra grand, even though the agreement says he has to. Then there's the house itself. It was supposed to be done by June 2025, kind of mirroring their old place. 6 bedrooms, guest house, waterfront view, the whole 9 yards. But Lisa claims the place Lenny is building, totally different. She says it's only got 5 bedrooms, no guest house, the pool's way smaller, the driveway barely fits any cars, and get this, it's not even waterfront. Apparently, it's across from a noisy high school. Now Lenny's firing back. He says he has followed the agreement. He claims the house he's building, worth maybe $7 to $9 million, is actually bigger overall if you count the garage square footage, and he makes a point of saying he's paying rent for Lisa and her current boyfriend, who apparently moved in with her. Lisa's lawyer says, look, this isn't about total square feet. It's about the specific approved plans in the marital settlement agreement. She also kind of highlighted Lenny's reported $175 million net worth, while he's apparently quibbling over $1,000 for his kids' rent increase. So yeah, it's really heating up, showing a big clash over what was promised versus what's being delivered.
So this was today's update about the legal dispute between Lisa and Lenny Hochstein. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we're going to talk about Shannon Beador's recent appearance on Watch What Happens Live, where she clarified her stance on wedding drama, her rules for friends, and who was in the hot seat at the reunion. So, Shannon was on, discussing the latest The Real Housewives of Orange County episode, especially those claims flying around from Tamra Judge that Shannon's friends basically have to obey her rules. Particularly about Jennifer Pedranti maybe going to the wedding of Shannon's ex, John Jansen, to Alexis Bellino. Well, Shannon pretty much shut that down. She straight up denied telling Jen not to go to the wedding. In fact, she said she just asked Jen if she was attending, and Jen apparently said no. Shannon confirmed they are still great friends, so there's that. And she kind of brushed off the whole obey my rules idea, saying everyone can make their own choices. She even wished John and Alexis congratulations publicly, confirming that breakup was way back in late 2022, and really, she has moved on. She also touched on Vicky Gunvalson having Alexis on her podcast. Apparently, Vicky called Shannon first to give her a heads up. Shannon said she was fine with it. It's been 2 years, and she feels like she's in a better place. Now defining those friendships. While Shannon says she can film and laugh with Tamra Judge sometimes, she was pretty clear they will never be close friends again. She actually called setting that boundary a healthy choice. She did confirm she's friends with pretty much everyone on the cast, except one. And yeah, a Tres Amigas reunion? She said that's not possible. Making peace with Alexis and John? Also not happening. But get this, a bit of a surprise here. Despite those firm lines, Shannon revealed she is open to a future friendship with Ginella. Yeah, even after that whole secret audio recording incident. She admitted she felt very invaded at the time, but hey, she'll never say never. And she gave us a little tease about the upcoming reunion, calling it good, but also admitting that after filming she found herself thinking, should I have said that? And apparently, Tamra and Gretchen were the two really feeling the heat in the hot seat. So this was today's update about Shannon Beador's latest reality TV revelations. Let's now move on to the next update.
Next, we are going to talk about Lea Black's explosive claims regarding her former co-stars from The Real Housewives of Miami. Okay, so Lea Black, right? She was recently on a podcast, and wow, she did not hold back. We're talking some pretty stunning allegations about Marysol Patton and Alexia Nepola. It really illuminates some long-standing tensions, let's just say. So first up, there's this wild story involving Marysol Patton. Lea says she actually heard from Christy Rice, former cast member. Anyway, Christy apparently told Lea that Marysol tried to get a hex put on her. Yeah, like to get her booted from the show. Apparently, Christy's mother goes to this spiritual reader who supposedly had Lea's picture and a drag queen's picture, claiming Marysol asked for the hex. Lea's reaction? She said she just kind of rolled her eyes, basically like, yeah, good luck with that. It sounds just so Miami. But then things got way more serious when the conversation turned to Alexia Nepola. Lea straight up called her two-faced and conniving. And for Lea, the absolute final straw, as she put it, she claims Alexia used the outing of her late ex-husband, Herman Echeverria, just as a storyline on the show. Lea stressed that this was just unforgivable, especially because Herman is deceased. He can't defend himself. And it sounds like it felt like a real betrayal, especially since Lea apparently supported Alexia and her kids when Alexia's own husband was in jail. And Lea also kind of suggested Alexia's whole public image as a big supporter of the gay community might be, well, let's say fabricated. Lea seems to think that after using Herman's sexuality for a storyline, who she says Alexia knew was gay all along, Alexia had to kind of reposition herself as an ally, or else it would have shown she was someone who, outed him. So this was today's update about Lea Black's RHOM accusations. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about Brittany Cartwright, and really, the hardest moment she's faced in her whole decade on reality TV. So Brittany recently opened up about just how intense things got filming that super tough competition show, Special Forces. But, she also talked about the emotional roller coaster of her other series, The Valley Season 2, and how some really personal triggers kind of shaped her whole journey on TV. Okay, so get this. She actually said that while Special Forces was physically brutal, filming the latest season of The Valley was the hardest thing she's ever done in 10 years on television. Wow. She did mention she's doing much better now, especially since separating from her estranged husband Jax Taylor earlier this year. Now, that emotional strain, that was a huge deal during Special Forces. She ended up quitting early because all the intense screaming and yelling from the instructors, the directing staff, it really triggered her. She explained, look, she just wasn't ready emotionally or mentally for men yelling at her, telling her she was weak, especially since it happened right after leaving what she called her toxic relationship with Jax. She described how those first intense drills, like having bags put over their heads in over 100-degree heat, made her shake uncontrollably, almost like a panic attack. And honestly, the hardest part of that whole show for her? Being away from her son, Cruz, especially because he has autism. Still, even though she left early, Brittany's really proud she faced a major fear. She actually jumped out of a helicopter, and she's usually scared of heights. She also gave a shout out to her co-star, Teresa Giudice, saying Teresa was like a mama bear, really supporting her, even cleaning mud off her face. So this was today's update about Brittany Cartwright's reality TV challenges. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about Jennifer Pedranti's conflicting emotions surrounding her upcoming wedding to fiancé Ryan Boyajian. So, the Real Housewives of Orange County star is openly feeling pretty uneasy about her upcoming nuptials. She's even thinking about options like maybe just a white bikini on the beach, or like a quick courthouse trip, just something really low-key, trying to avoid another big traditional wedding thing. And Jennifer's discomfort, it really seems to boil down to her feeling like a fraud when she does typical wedding prep stuff. She actually talked about this with Ginella while trying on dresses, explaining how this guilt goes way back to her divorce from Will Pedranti in 2024. She said she felt like she had a scarlet letter for, quote, rocking her kid's world. And she still kind of carries that feeling of being a divorced person. So, this internal conflict just makes anything that looks like a new second marriage, especially things like putting on a wedding gown and veil, feel really uncomfortable for her. It also illuminates why she felt awkward during that really thoughtful bridal shower Shannon Beador threw for her. Now, Gina Kirschenheiter thought Jen just didn't appreciate it. But Jen clarified, no, I did appreciate the kindness, it was probably nicer than her actual wedding might be. But she felt she didn't deserve that gorgeous setting. She even admitted if Shannon had asked first, she probably would have said no. Still, she did add she's getting better at being celebrated. So this was today's update about Jennifer Pedranti's difficult journey toward her second marriage. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about the latest updates regarding the Real Housewives of Orange County star Ginella. Okay, so season 19 of RHOC, it's been really challenging for Ginella, right? She basically got sidelined, kind of banished from the second half of the season because she failed that lie detector test. And, well, you can imagine the tension. The rest of the cast made it pretty clear they did not want to film with her. They were even furious when Tamra Judge met up with Katie to ask about Gretchen Rossi and Slade Smiley. Now, Katie's position is tough, partly because of her own actions. Remember, she admitted filming Shannon Beador without her okay. And there were reports she told a blogger that Gretchen claimed she was drugged during that whole naked wasted night. Yikes. A big blow was her falling out with Jennifer Pedranti, who used to be a close friend. But after the lie detector thing, Jennifer decided she just couldn't trust Katie anymore. So without allies, coming back is looking tricky. But here's where it gets confusing. There are two totally different stories about the season 19 reunion they just taped. One report says Katie had a rough time, is still totally iced out by the group, and it's, quote, likely she's going to be let go. But then another insider, someone supposedly close to production, is saying that's absolutely not true. This source claims Katie actually left the reunion feeling better, which, has some fans worried she might not be back. Of course, Bravo never comments on casting for upcoming seasons, so it's all just speculation right now.